keep hitting the ground way behind the ball. How do I not do that? That's where these little guys come into play. We give them away for free. I think everyone knows that. So feel free to grab as many as you need. But kind of like what I said when I first started talking about divots, where I put one down and kind of represents the golf ball, you know, where you can set up to that tee, and probably middle of your stance with the mid iron. And if that keeps occurring where, God, I just keep hitting behind the ball a little bit, put another one out ahead of the golf ball. You know, maybe 2, maybe 3 inches. And while you're setting over that first one, again, remember that first one is a ball, interchangeable. It's there, and it's not there. You can use it with a ball, you can use it without a ball. But like I said, if you keep hitting behind the golf ball, one thing that might be able to help is kind of shifting your focus out ahead of the golf ball. You know, where normally you're standing over the ball and you're looking straight at the golf ball, but we know that when we're looking straight at the golf ball, God, we're hitting a little bit behind the golf ball. So instead of looking straight down at the golf ball, we now have another reference, right? We could now, instead of staring at this first tee that's supposed to be the golf ball, while we're swinging, maybe try to stare at that front tee and trying to get that golf ball or that divot out ahead of the golf ball. Okay? Because remember, the divot should always start right under the golf ball and extend out ahead. And again, it's another good drill, another good warm-up, because we're not hitting golf balls with it. A lot of times I see when we give drills, especially something that's a little bit newer, a little bit foreign, is, you know, the first couple of shots you take maybe aren't quite doing exactly what you want them to do. So just by using tees and trying to make proper divots without golf balls, you're not frustrating yourself as much because you're not seeing the balls do squirty things. So again, we can use one tee to warm up with. You might not even need one. You can pick an old divot. You can pick a lousy patch of grass. You can pick a nice patch of grass, just as long as we have a focus. And let's try to kind of wear that spot down. Once we feel like that club's grounding in the same spot every time, then that's when we want to kind of shift focus to, okay, we've got the divot down. We know we're making a divot. You can see the divot. Now let's try to get it out ahead of the golf ball, and that's where this other tee's going to come into place. And you can do it with balls and without. For example, let's say that we've got done, you know, taking some practice swings. We're used to hitting the turf. Now we want to get that divot out ahead of the golf ball. One thing we can do is we can replace this back tee with a golf ball, and again, we still have that focus out ahead of the ball. Okay, so now when we're hitting golf balls, we have a reference spot. Especially if we're hitting behind it, we're looking out in front of the golf ball, and we're basically just trying to dig this tee out of the ground. Instead of hitting the ball, we're trying to dig this tee out, just to assure that we're getting that divot out ahead of the golf ball. I'll give you one example. Again, sounded good, felt good, but you can tell that front tee is clearly out of the ground. If I would have hit a little bit behind that ball, that front tee might still be sticking in the ground. We kind of, you know, verify, okay, I didn't do that one right. Let's try to shift focus on whether we have to throw our hands or our body out in front of the ball, or just whether we have to aim for a spot out ahead of the ball. Let's try to get that out ahead of the golf ball. Questions, comments?